Okay, welcome to part 2 of my journal series. This is where we're going to trim and size our paper, work on our cover and our spine, and just get it all together so we can start our signatures. Real quick, I want to show you, if you haven't watched it yet, go back to part 1 where I show staining papers, and you can see how they turned out. This is with the shimmer mist I sprayed on it. This is with just putting it in the water stain. It picked up some of the previous stain on my paper, so you have to be careful if you're trying to get a pure color. Don't, put it on a fresh sheet of something to sit on to dry. So it did pick up a little bit, but I'm okay with that because look, it matches the peaches in our paper. This I'm not real happy about. I don't know if you can see, there is a pearl mist on there, and I'm hoping it catches it, but I don't like how it turned out. I'm not going to throw it away yet, but I don't know if I'm going to use it. And then there's just some more. This is tracing paper. Look how pretty that is. Oh, and I love the texture and the sound of the water bath over tracing paper. Again, it picked up some of those previous colors. Just some more water staining. Here's again with the shimmer mist. I finally got my sprayer to work, and that's how it turned out. And then more of the graph paper, which I just don't like that mottled look. Not for this journal, maybe. I doubt it though. And then, oh my goodness, I shimmer misted the tracing paper. Look at that. That really picked up. And it doesn't, I don't think, no, very lightly rubs off, but nothing that I would be concerned about. It's going to be more probably just over a piece of paper. Let me flip this over. So when you turn it, you can kind of see underneath it. How pretty will that be? I also went ahead and trimmed down my 12 by 12 for the cover. So this is going to be the outside cover. And then when you open up the book, this will be your inside. So I will put measurements down below. This is again going to be on the outside, 9 inches long, 6 inches wide. So take that 12 by 12, cut it down to 6 by 9. You'll get 2 pieces of the exact same size. And then for your inside pages, we're going to glue these together is what's going to happen next. That's going to be 6 by 9 as well. Hopefully that makes sense. And then our spine will be a 3 by 9. So again, 2 pieces, scrap or whatever you have, and you're going to actually glue these together. So one's going to be the outside of the spine, and the other one's going to be the inside of the spine. And this is where we're going to do our sewing. We're going to do some scoring on here. We're going to do some sewing. So this is 3 inches wide, 9 inches long. Very important to know that because it's going to make our scoring a lot easier and simple. I'll again link those measurements below. And then what I also did, to just show an example, I took one of our pieces of scrapbook, or 12 by 12, and I cut it down to 8.5 by 11. So it's actually 8.5 inches long, 11 inches wide. So when you're cutting, make sure you cut with your pattern going across, 11 inches, and then 8.5 going down. It's a standard size piece of paper, because I want to make it as simple as possible, and this is just my preferred size of book I like to make. So here's your 8.5 by 11 piece of copy paper. Just try to line it up. Just try to line it up. That's what you're doing there. And then I just folded it in half, and then I rounded my corners. So this is actually going to be a page in the book where we will also have our, I have a folded piece of paper here. Now I can't find it. Lots of crinkling. That's from the water. So if you don't want all that crinkling, don't stain it, because that's what's going to happen. So So this will, you know, we'll start to build our signature that way. But first of all, I want to show you how I'm going to glue my cover and my spine together, and how I'm going to size up all this gorgeous 12 by 12 paper we just picked out in the first video. And I'll show you a couple techniques for folding as well. All right, so let me pause it and get everything set up, because your desk ends up looking like this as you're moving along. And I just want to kind of keep things separated. I have a couple, ignore that. All right, hold on one moment. Okay, so let's go ahead and work on our cover. And what we're going to do now is some gluing. So again, this is going to be the cover page, and then we're going to take a piece of the other and glue it to the back. So the cover page will look like this. Glues. There's all kinds of glues out there. This is more of a water-based glue, and this is a less water-based glue. So I right now am preferring this, because if you use a water-based glue, and again, use your preference, you will end up getting dimples and folds, and you'll have to work it to try to get that out, and you probably won't. You may, for the most part. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply my glue. Not a whole lot, because I'm gonna end up spreading it. And this will, well, you'll see, it will dry pretty flat. And it's pretty strong. Whew, goodness, it is strong. But it's the Beacon 3-in-1. And there's many others out there that everybody, you know, just work with what you got. And so I'm just going to lay that down. I'm going to line that up in the corner to kind of make sure it's straight. And this glue gives you time to work with. Now you can see there, I did not cut my paper exactly. I'm going to have some trimming here on the side, which is fine. It's called handmade for a reason. You got a little bit to work with this glue. You know what else you can use too? Let me show you. Real quick, let me rub this down. So this is a brayer. I got mine from Michael's. You can see there it's a Recollections brand. Use a coupon, or you can get a cheaper one. I think I paid, $7. But you can see it has gotten goopy. I keep my paper towel, I just wipe it off. And you can use a baby wipe or whatever. I just, you know, I keep reusing my paper towels till I can no longer use them. And kind of off there a little bit. So this is my cover, and I want it to be perfect. Just gonna peel that back off. See how already that's starting to set. Just gonna get this lined up one more time. So keep that in mind too when you're working with it, that you want a glue that you can adjust and trim. I'm still going to do a little bit of trimming. It's also easier when you're standing right over it, and you can take your time with it, just rubbing that down. So when we're done here, I'm going to have to trim off just a smidge there on the end to straighten it up. There's one. I'm going to do the spine, and then I'm going to pause you and do the other one. I'm going to be careful with the spine. So make sure you have your pages the way you want them in, you know, in the book. So if you're doing a print, make sure you don't do one print upside down. And your spine, if you want to reinforce it, you can use Tyvek. This is a Tyvek envelope. You can cut a piece off and run it, but I think we'll be okay. You'll keep learning more and more techniques as you make it, and you can watch more and more tutorials. This is just, again, a beginner, simple, basic journal to get you comfortable. So there's our spine. Again, I'm just going to have to do a smidgen of trimming, just a smidge. And I want to show you one more thing. This also works, the Gorilla Spray Adhesive. You get some time to work with it, I think 10 minutes or less, or 4 minutes. It tells you on the back of the bottle. I got this at Walmart. It's a spray adhesive. It does smell. I suggest you take it outside and do it, and then you can bring it in and put it together. So that's an alternative as well for a less water-based glue. All right, let me pause you a second. I'm gonna get my cover put together and we're gonna start trimming some paper out. A couple of quick tips. If you're working on a delicate surface, put something down, that way you don't get glue everywhere. I have little glue spots all over my desk. But this is my working desk. If I was on my dining room table, I would have some kind of surface down, because when you rub the brayer, sometimes the glue will seep out of the edge. Other things I like to do is mark my journals. I don't do it all the time, but I'm just going to show that it's my front and my top. This is my back. You see how the print, I want to go up. So I definitely want to catch that, because I've made that mistake before where it's went in backwards. And then my spine, I think we'll do the music for the outside, and then I just want to note that let's go that way. It's the top. There, I got everything put together, and let's move on to paper. Set that off to the side to dry, and cutter parts we won't mess with yet. I have some idea for these, for the embellishments. So I'm gonna move those out of the way, and I'm gonna get my glue out of the way. Now it's all cutting and sizing and trimming and figuring out that, you know, which way's up or down. So we're just going to do the scrapbook papers, because remember, we're doing a journal that's going to fit 8.5 by 11 paper, so we're not going to do any sizing on that unless you wanted shorter papers. Move those out of the way. I got my paper trimmer, and this is where your manicure goes to south. I just got that glue on my fingernail polish and it came off. All right, I don't need that. I'm just getting stuff out of my way. You might want either a butter knife or something, a bone folder, whatever you have that's going to crease your papers. So we're going to take, this is going to be the middle of the first signature, and remember, you want it so it goes 11 that way, 8.5 that way. So let's go ahead and do the 8.5 first. That way we get the biggest piece of scrap paper, and I can use that for something else. And then we're going to go 11 this way. I'm going to trim off a 1/2 inch of each end, so it doesn't look like I just chopped a piece off. It's going to take some of the design out. That's okay. I really need a better paper trimmer. One of the fancier ones. And you can see here, I'm just trying to line it up. So if you want to fast forward through some of this and stop where you want, I'll try not to make it too long. Let me see if I measured that out right. Yep, 11 inches long. Or should I say 11 inches wide, 8.5 inches long. This is where, okay, I'm just gonna show you real quick cutting more paper. I finally got my thoughts together on this. So just quickly cut some paper. See, I'm doing 8.5 by 11, making sure the paper is in the direction I want it to go, because it's going to go this way. So we're going to read a book this way. Okay. There's that. Get a few more sheets. Since it's thin paper, I can cut 2 to 3 sheets each time. So again, it's 8.5. By 11. Now, if you were doing this with scrapbook paper, your book would get so thick that you would have to cut down your paper smaller and smaller and smaller to make it fit. I'm hoping that's not the case with the thinner paper, but time will tell. And we can always adjust for that. So 8.5. Something tells me I better look to make sure my good shapes are up. Rotate it and make it 11 inches across. 11 inches. That's the thin stuff. And I just got to show you, we have all this gorgeous scrap left over. And with this, we already have a vertical band that's cut perfectly. And, yep, 8.5. We have tags to make, little envelopes to make. So hold on to the scraps. Paper clip flag. So here's where it gets a little tricky. So if you want to try a little advanced technique, you can. If not, you don't have to. But I'm taking my thicker cardstock I have, and it's a 12 by 12 piece, but I trimmed off 1 inch to make it 12 inches long by 11 inches wide. So remember that, 12 inches long, 11 inches wide. We're going to take our paper, and we're actually going to make pockets, or get it ready to make pockets. So I have my scoreboard, and you can, you know, use whatever to make your scoring line with. But I'm lining it up, so this is going to be the top where we're going to look at, and then we're going to go down here to 8.5, and we're going to actually score it. And then when it folds over, you can go either way. You can go that way, or you can go that way. But see, it's upside down, so we want to go this way. It's already made for us. And then you can go ahead at this time, if you want, and line up your corners. Did I mention it's good to have a bone folder or a butter knife or something like that? That way you can put your permanent crease in. And then we're actually going to glue these edges down. And then you'll have pockets. So let me do another one for you. I made a video on this before, so you may be like a repeat watcher. And I messed myself up. I'm thinking, which way do I want to go? This way, right? 8.5. That's where my score is going to be. And it's going to be 11 inches long. Okay, I'm good, I'm good. So we're going to score it again at 8.5. And this one you'll probably be able to go maybe this way with it, because it doesn't matter with these lines. Let's make that permanent. And so yes, that's 11 inches wide. We folded that up and we're just going to fold it over on itself. Just a little tricky. I'm gonna use our bone folder and make that permanent. Now this is the problem you start running into with paper. It will split at the fold. But that's okay. You're not going to see that because it's going to be in a signature. One more. I want my flowers to go up. So we're going to rotate our image so I can score 8.5. Flowers up. 8.5. And you know what? Will that work? No, see our flowers are upside down when you fold it. So again, we're going to have to go this way. Fold over. Yes, it came apart again, but we're not going to see that. It's just it's not ripping all the way through. It's just that one layer is coming up. And there you go. When we glue this down, which I'm going to get ready to do now, we'll have pockets. Let me show you one, and then you'll know what to do. So again, you have your various, you have your paper tape, your red line tape, you have your glue, whatever you'd like to use. Here, I'll just take some paper tape because I have it handy, and it's almost gone. And I'm just going to put this on my edges. And see, you don't have to do anything there because it's solid. My hardest thing about paper tape is lining it up and getting it to the edge. My most difficult. It's down to the end, so it keeps unraveling. So you see that so I put tape there and I put tape there. Don't want to put tape across the bottom because we want to put stuff in there. So I'm just taking off exposing my adhesive. That's what I'm doing. Wants to pull back up the adhesive. And then, oops, sorry about that, bumped you. I'm just going to lay this down. You know, if you wanted to do a little stamping there, we could. Don't worry about that because that's going to be sewn in. And then when we open up our book, we will have our pockets. And just grabbing a piece of scrap. And then we'll be able to put stuff in there. All right, so I'm going to get my pockets done. And then the next video, we will put our signatures together. Yes, that's the most exciting part. Sorting all of our papers together so we can get ready to sew them in the book.